Welcome to Tell Me Your Story with Dennis Henson. This is a brand new series we hope that you will enjoy, and it's called Body of Health. Dennis, welcome, and let us start out by telling people about, I guess best way to put it is, our disclaimer.
Okay. Well, Richard, thank you so much for having me on this series. I'm really excited about doing this, but I think it's very important that everyone understand that neither of us are medical doctors or have any kind of medical training. We are just people who are very interested in health and being able to get better faster, so that if you have some problem, that gives you a place to go to find things that have worked for other people that may help you, or they may not, but there'll be something worthwhile checking out.
Body of Health is going to be here every week. The website that we're going to suggest you go to for information, number one website is dennisjhenson.com, which we will have in the audio and video podcast videocast. But there's also a Facebook location, and basically it's facebook.com/groups/body of health. Once again, facebook.com/groups, that's plural, groups/body of health. We hope that you will go there to check out the information that Dennis has provided with us. And with that, we move into our conversation about Body of Health. The fountain of youth drink is what we're going to talk about today. Dennis, first of all, I want to touch upon that aspect of it. Is it really, it seems as though more and more people, it's one thing for me, for example, to want quality of life. All right. I want to live to be 100, but not if I don't have quality of life.
Right.
So the other aspect of it is, as I say, I want to live to be 100, but not 200 or 300. I want to live out my normal lifespan. So let's define, shall we say, the purpose, the impetus for the fountain of youth drink.
The purpose of the fountain of youth drink is to make you feel young and energetic, regardless of your age. That's the thing. If there's something that you can do every day that gives you a little extra pep in your step, makes you more resilient against disease, or even if you get hurt, you get well a lot quicker. That's what this was designed to do. Now, there's a background story to this, and we might as well go ahead and cover that right now.
Absolutely.
About 6 years ago, I had a traumatic stroke. It was serious, a bad, people have strokes, and I thought it would never happen to me. I was going along. I thought I was going to live forever. Everything was going to be fine. I was drinking 8 Dr. Peppers a day and eating all kinds of sugar stuff, and just never thought about my diet. I would eat chicken fried steak, twice a day. So after I had that stroke, for the first year, I had a hard time getting out of a chair. I would stand up and fall back down. But I made a determination that I was going to become normal again. I was going to get better. People were going to be able to look at me and never have an idea that I went through what I went through.
Okay, and I want you to pause right there, because I want to ask you, because I'm sure you investigated this. For those who don't know, what is a stroke? What happens in the body?
Well, for some reason, your blood stops going to your brain, and then your brain cells begin to die. And once they're dead, you can't they don't come back. They're gone. I mean, you can put new brain cells, but they're not the old ones. So for some reason, the blood was restricted, and it turned out I had a blockage in my carotid artery, which probably the stroke probably saved me from a serious heart attack because that was, the next thing that was going to come. But it was debilitating, to say the least.
Hmm.
And it was one of the worst situations I've ever been in. So after I got out of the hospital, I determined that, first of all, I was having stroke after stroke after stroke. I remember when I was in the hospital, I told the doctor, well, at least it's over. And he just shook his head and he said, no, it's probably not over. Once you have one, you're probably going to have another one within the next 3 months. And in 3 months, I had another one and another one. And then I ended up having seven. So my goal was to stop having strokes. That was the first goal. And then the second goal was to become normal again and well, be able to work, be able to think, do the things that I used to do and love to do with my wonderful, beautiful wife. So one of the things I started doing was walking every day. I would walk many, many steps. And I got an earphone and I used my cell phone and I would listen to health things. I would listen to uh, Barbara O'Neill.
Hmm.
She's wonderful. I listen to Barbara O'Neill every day. And anything that I felt, that would be the topic of the day. So if I had a headache, I'd listen about headaches. If I had a toothache, I'd listen about whatever it was. If I felt like maybe my heart was getting weak, I'd listen to that. And so patterns started to emerge as I listened to different doctors, different people, different ideas. Patterns started to emerge, and they said, if you take this, this will happen. If you take this, so that's how the Fountain of Youth drink. It's a pattern. If you listen to thousands of hours of people telling you about longevity and about healing and about feeling good, you're going to hear these same things over and over again. And I thought, I wonder if anyone's ever put them all together.
Yeah.
Could there be uh, like a recipe that includes all of these to hit everything? For example, your eyesight, for example, your hearing. So I couldn't find that. And I thought, well, I have the information and I'm already, I'm an author anyway. So why not put together a recipe that I can share with my students and other people? So one of the ladies that worked for me came in and was telling me that her father was really sick. He was about to pass away. He was in a wheelchair and they didn't expect him to live for 6 months. And I said, well, it can't hurt anything. Here, take this and see how this works.
Hmm.
So that's the last I thought about it. In about a year, she came back and I said, well, tell me, how'd your father do? Did he make it? She said, you would not believe it. He's not in a wheelchair anymore. He's out driving around. He's just, he's as spry as he was, 10 years ago. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Well, that same thing happened with several people. So I have a good deal of faith that this is really something that's good. It can help a lot of people. The only problem with it is there's a lot to it. I mean, you got to, go out and get these herbs and spices and put them all together. So one of my friends said, well, I just make enough for a week.
Hmm.
I just drink it every day. And I thought, well, I never thought of that because it's kind of a task, a
Yeah.
chore to put all this together every single day. So
Hmm.
my wife said, well, I can do that. So my wife does that for me now. And now I don't have to do anything except pour it in a glass and drink it, which which is kind of exciting because it's spicy.
Oh, yeah. And,
It'll give you a kick. It'll wake you up.
and we'll give you the recipe here in a little bit, but I will tell you also that there's a place to go. to get that recipe. And we'll have that website on a regular basis so that you can go and get the recipe for each one of the programs that we're going to be talking about, the body of health and so forth. And that's DennisJHenson.com. And we hope that you'll go there as we continue talking with Dennis here on A Body of Health, here on Tell Me Your Story. This is A Body of Health. Dennis Henson. He has a website. He also has a Facebook location where you can go to find out more about A Body of Health, and we are encouraged by that. Dennis, I want to talk a little bit about. We're going to get into the recipe here in a few minutes, but I want to touch upon one of the frustrations that I'm not alone, and I'm sure you've felt this too, where you go online and you do some searching. Now, I've done some searching. I've actually used AI to do some research on this as well. And I've watched these reels and these little short videos where people say, if you're having trouble with type 2 diabetes, because that's one of my issues, and I'm not violating a HIPAA law here, folks, because it's my health I'm talking about. And I get all of these recommendations. And then, of course, I hear the different reasons why people have type 2 diabetes. One of them has to do with this. And again, I don't know whether this is true or not, but they say there's this parasite that's attached to the organ that generates the insulin, and that's the problem. And here's the solution. Then they say it's some sticky substance that's on the cells of in your blood that is preventing the insulin from doing its job. And then I researched where I found out that stress can also cause your blood sugar to elevate, because stress affects the hormones. Insulin is a hormone, from what I understand, and so on and so forth. And I'm sitting here going, well, which one of these is the truth? And so that's kind of where I want to come from with this question to you is, you've researched this stuff, I'm sure. And again, as we state throughout this program, neither of us are medical doctors. We're not giving you medical advice. Consult your physician, before you embark on some of these things. But at the same time, my physician says, no, stress has nothing. No, stress wouldn't cause your blood sugar to. And I'm going, who do I believe?
Well, you believe yourself. You try different things and test them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I go about it. I believe this is my personal belief, and I'm not a doctor. Let me reiterate that, but I think nitric oxide will cure most ills if you take it consistently and you take enough of it, or you get enough of it in your system. However you do that, you can do it with infrared lights, infrared beds. You can do it with L-Arginine plus, anything that has beets. There's a beet chewy that's got nitric oxide.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is with it, and I don't want to put anything down, it's probably good for you, but it has lots of sugar. Well, there's 4 things that I highly suggest that you either eliminate or keep away from your body if you want to live long and feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all white. One of them is sugar.
Right.
Now, there are good sugar replacements that actually really taste just like sugar.
Yeah. And we're not talking the artificial stuff. We're talking about natural from plants, like one that I use, stevia. And go ahead and continue.
That's true. Well, let's name the white things for
Yes.
white flour. Just avoid it. And you think, well, I can't do without my bread. Well, I don't do without bread. I have, really good bread every single day. It just doesn't have flour in it. It's got something else that tastes good. Table salt. Now, salt has a bad name. Oh, salt's bad for you, raise your blood pressure. That has not been my experience. Now, table salt will. But blood pressure is important to me. I don't want to have another stroke. That's really key to me.
Yeah.
But if you use Himalayan salt or Celtic salt, the salt that has the 90 nutrients in it, it's actually good for you,
Yeah.
and if you don't get enough of it, that's bad for you. But anyway, the second one is table salt, the one that's been stripped from all the nutrients. The third one is dairy products, milk.
Hmm.
I know a lot of people are not going to want to, oh my God.
What are
I
you
don't,
doing to me, Dennis? No.
uh, and so why is that? Well, milk is actually probably kind of good for you, but it has a lot of things in it that might not be. So what I suggest is that you research it. Just uh, when you're walking every day, and you should walk every day. When you're walking every day, put some earphones on and listen to things about health. There are certain people out there that will show up often, like Barbara O'Neill or some of the doctors now. There's doctors out there that also teach holistic medicine.
Hmm.
So they know both sides. And I really like that because since they've been through medical school, they have their degrees, they know what they're doing, but they also have looked into this other, and they're leading their patients. My doctor in Fort Worth is like that. She's a medical doctor, but she's also really into holistic medicine and cures. And then I have some other friends that are just into that, and some that are just doctors. But yeah, if you avoid foods that have white in them, then I think you'll live longer and feel a lot better.
When you think about it, I mean, just logically, that if it's, with the exception of, let's just say, coconut, okay, the meat of the coconut, which is white,
Right.
if you think about the sugar, the dairy products, the salt, and the I had it in my head just a second ago, the flour, the white flour.
Yes.
When you look at where these products come from, sugar comes from sugarcane predominantly. Flour comes from wheat. Salt, of course, would come. Now, I don't know exactly, but I do know that Gandhi, for example, in his day, they would go out to the ocean's edge and they would gather up the water, let the water, the H2O evaporate, and what's left are the minerals, which are make up salt and so forth.
Yes.
And when you look at those products, if you will, if they were naturally processed, now, in other words, let's just say you grind the wheat and you just grind it and you grind it down so it's so fine, so now it's almost like a powder and you can work with it. It's not white. The same thing with
Right.
sugar cane. It's not white and so forth.
A lot of the problems is the processing that it goes through. They put
Yeah.
chemicals in there, they bleach out the good stuff, and but milk, the problem with milk is it's made to for to make an animal that weighs 1,000 pounds.
Hmm.
I mean, you don't weigh that much. So it's got a lot of things in it that overly boost your system. It overcharges your system.
Mm,
Anyway, that's my personal understanding. I just know that since I've been avoiding it, I've been feeling a lot better.
yeah. Little acronym DFSS: dairy, flour, salt, and sugar. DFSS. Stay away from it. At least in terms of if it's white. There are all kinds of different alternatives, and it's absolutely amazing. We're going to continue talking with Dennis here. Again, you can get the recipe that we're going to talk about in our next segment here at DennisJHenson.com. DennisJHenson.com. You also can go to Facebook to find out more about Body of Health, and that is facebook.com/groups/Body of Health. And we will continue right here on this series on Tell Me Your Story. I'm Richard Dugan, and Dennis Henson is my guest. He's actually more along the lines of my co-host. He's the one with the information that we're going to share right now, and we're going to give you the Fountain of Youth recipe. I think that it's important, and as Dennis said, it does have it gives you warmth, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, just by looking at the ingredients, I'm going to go down the list of ingredients, not the measurements, just the ingredients themselves. And then we're going to go through some of those that maybe you're not that familiar with. For example, there is extra virgin olive oil. It's MCT oil. There's coconut oil. There's apple cider vinegar, turmeric, black pepper, ginger, cinnamon, cayenne pepper, saffron, tart cherry juice, red wine, and finally you have filtered water. Now, I want to go back specifically to saffron. That is one that you want to buy it in small amounts, considering the fact that you only need a small amount. And if this is a recipe, as you were saying, Dennis, for let's just say a week, then that's not too bad. Let's start at the top. We all know, I think we all know, extra virgin.
Okay, that's half the recipe.
Oh, that's half of it. Oh, got to go down
that's
further.
yeah, that's the half that you
Oh,
eat.
beg your pardon. And then there's an after heat. These are
Right,
the add-ins, ladies and gentlemen.
right.
And you're looking here, Dennis, at a juice of a lemon, fresh lemon, as well as the zest of that fresh lemon from the peel. A drop of a local honey, and then you're also looking at liquid and lipos. This is liposomal
Yes.
vitamin C. Okay, and then there is also is this Argentine culture powder?
L-Arginine, Citrulline.
Oh, okay, Arginine, which is basically nitric oxide. That's what you were just talking about a few moments ago.
Right.
That we can find in, you mentioned beets, for example, have
Yes.
this. So those are the ingredients, and you can go to Dennis Henson, DennisJHenson.com, and you can find the recipe for the
Now,
Fountain of Youth. Yes, sir.
when you go to DennisJHenson.com, it's kind of a catch-all. It has my real estate stuff, has health stuff, it has success. I mean, it's got different things, but up the top, across the top, there's a tab that says health. You click on that, there's your recipe. And other things we'll be adding to that as we do our programs throughout the year. So you'll probably want to check back. There's always
Absolutely.
something free there.
So you've got, yeah, and I'm actually at the website right now, and there's like it's one, two, three, four, five. It's the sixth tab over called Health, and you're going to click on that, and that's going to give you some great information. It's going to give you the recipe for each one of these programs that we're going to be doing. And we certainly hope, and you can check out all of the other aspects. If you remember from our previous series, a Real Impact Daily Inspiration, that is another aspect that you're going to want to check out. Um, let's uh, let's talk a little bit about because I want to dive into this recipe, some of the other ingredients that, or not some of the other ingredients, but talk about the ingredients again. When you're talking about the oil, the MCT oil, what is that?
Well, it's an extract of the coconut oil, but it's much more. It's just the most powerful part. And if you listen to a lot of health and holistic, you're going to hear that come up over and over and over again. So apparently it's pretty powerful and does a great job for your system.
Okay. Now that's different or separate from the next ingredient, which is coconut oil. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
It's
And of
similar,
course,
similar but different. Yes,
similar but different. And of course, you can probably go to your local, possibly your local health food store, or you can search for it
yes.
online and get all of these different ingredients. One of the ingredients that I'm fascinated with that most of the time I can take it straight with, a little water, and that's the apple cider vinegar. I have heard, I'm not going to say that I've heard that it's a some kind of perfect food or liquid or anything, but it certainly can help. And the apple part of it, I even have had it. I've even purchased it through a company called Bragg's. That's apple cider vinegar with honey. So,
Well, it's not very good.
okay,
It
but
doesn't taste, it doesn't taste very good, but you cannot taste it in this drink because it's just a teaspoon.
right, exactly. Now, here's another one.
Tablespoon, yeah.
Now, you're looking for a teaspoon of turmeric. Now, obviously, that implies, correct me if I'm wrong, that you purchase the powder because you can
Yes,
also purchase the root.
it's the powder.
It's the
And
powder, yeah.
my kitchen cupboard is filled with big bags of the different spices. And so we have a big bag. You have to be careful with turmeric because if you spill it on your clothes, you just ruined your clothes. You,
I uh, I
unless you want
had
to have
a
orange clothes.
well, I have this rubber spatula or scraper, okay?
Right.
And I was making up this concoction with turmeric, right? But
Yes.
I was heating it up on the stove and so forth. And it was blue. It was a light blue rubber spatula. And when I took it out, it was green. And I washed it and washed it. And it's like, okay, it's going to stay green because, and this is one of the things you want to be careful with a lot of these things. And when you were talking earlier about beets, and so forth, you spill that, you've just changed the color of your countertop for a little while, or your clothes, that kind of thing. So be careful when you're doing this. Hey, if you need to wear a smock, wear a smock. You also have in here the black pepper, which works in combination with the turmeric. Talk to us about that.
Well, the black pepper multiplies the value of the turmeric. I think it's 200 times. So if you leave the black pepper out, you're really missing out on what the turmeric can do for you.
Mm.
So that's why they're in there in combination.
Of course, then we have ginger, cinnamon, cayenne pepper, saffron. Now, again, being it is people probably know it's a rather expensive herb or spice. I'm not sure what category it falls under, but you can get it, and you need to be careful. I think we were talking earlier that you have to be careful because there are some things that are sold labeled as saffron that aren't saffron.
Yes, the saffron is the most expensive spice. There's not another one close. And so it's counterfeited. People will take something that looks like saffron and make it the same color and put it in a package and put the name on it. And you may pay $200 or $300 for a little vial and you haven't gotten anything that will help you. The saffron is in there because it helps with your eyesight. So
Oh,
yeah, and saffron is if you think of a flower that has these little tubes in the middle, these little things that stick out in the middle, that's what the saffron is. It's just those little tubes that's in the middle of a flower. So if
hmm.
you imagine you take an entire field of the saffron flowers and then you pull the little tubes out, and that's why they're so expensive.
Yeah, I'll bet you that entire field probably doesn't give you more than maybe a couple of cups
Yeah.
of saffron because of that. But it's definitely well worth it. We'll talk about the economic aspects of this in a little bit. Then you also have tart cherry juice. Now I can drink straight tart cherry juice, cherry juice, beg your pardon, but I love mixing it with my non-sugar substitute for soda, which is for me, it's those sparkling ice drinks, and I'll even mix those flavors together. But mixing that with tart cherry juice, I love that flavor, whether it's with that or without. You also have a red wine. Now, no, don't worry here, folks, because you're only putting in a teaspoon here. And then, of course, you also have then the filtered water. And let's clarify that. You can either have a filtration system hooked up to your spigot at your sink or what have you, or in my case, and my wife's in my case, we have been drinking distilled water for years. And at first, you taste that unusual flavor, and it's not a bad thing. It's just like, huh, this isn't quite like tap water or regular drinking water from another jug or something. And then after a while, I mean, I'm not even aware of the difference anymore because I've been drinking it so long. I have heard that it's not good to drink distilled because you're not getting any minerals. And it's like, well, I'm sorry, but I'm also eating foods that have minerals,
Right.
so I'm not concerned about the loss of minerals through the water.
Well, one of the things that I teach is that you can take Celtic salt every day. So if you're going to drink distilled water, I suggest that you just take a little pinch of that, stir it up, and you're getting 92 minerals, which is all you need.
Hmm.
So that would solve that really quickly, but you don't even have to put it in your water. You just need to get it in your food or actually just take some every day just by itself.
Yeah.
It it's amazing what it will do for your body. A lot of people have digestive problems here, where this esophagus stops up, and that, oh my God, when you get that, that's a terrible thing. I mean, you can't eat, you can't swallow, it's embarrassing. And in my listings, I found out, well, if you just put a pinch of that salt under your tongue several times a day, you'll never have it again, which exactly is what happened to me. I'm not telling you it'll happen to you, but I can say, boy, that was a wonderful find.
Yeah.
And
Your experience is a wonderful thing. Then you have a double use for the lemon. You both take the juice of a lemon, a fresh lemon, as well as the zest, as they call it, from the peel, and you
yes,
put that in the mixture along with, if you can get it, local honey. And I would be surprised that people couldn't find local honey in their area. Now, the next item, and this is under the after heat add-ins, and we'll explain that in just a moment. You're talking about this vitamin C. It's a liquid. Uh, Pronounce that for us and tell us its importance.
well, it's a liposomal vitamin C. It just means that it's prepared for your cells. Your cells need vitamin C. And if you take a lot of sugar, the vitamin C is going to compete with the sugar, and the sugar is going to win. So uh, when I first started healing, one of the things that I found was that vitamin C is very healing uh, for a lot of different things. So the last couple of months, I was walking with my dogs, and there was one place where if you ran across the pavement in a certain way, it saved you a lot of time. You didn't have to cross the street several times. And so the dogs were trailing me. They were on, each one had a leash, and I was running as fast as I could to get to the next place before a car came. But the dogs discovered, hey, you're running. This is fun. So they ran in front of me on both sides, and then they crossed, and then they stopped.
Mm.
So my legs were totally surrounded by dog leashes, and I was running as fast as I could go. So I hit the pavement really hard. I mean, I thought it almost knocked me out. But anyway, it caused some serious bruising, really serious. And so for the first week, I wasn't thinking clearly. I went to the doctor and they gave me some drugs, and I just wasn't thinking. But after I started thinking clearly, I thought, wait a minute, I need to be doing some of these things that I've been teaching other people to do. So I went and did the research, and I started taking vitamin C and D3. And the next day, I felt better. The very next day, those
Wow.
bruises started healing up and feeling better, and I could move around. So it's amazing what this, just regular things that you can get, like get vitamin C in an orange or the lime. But the liposomal vitamin C allows your body to accept the vitamin C and use it much more quickly than just regular vitamin C.
And the
And
last item we're going to talk about is the nitric. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, it is nitric acid. Now you have here listed as arginine,
Yeah, it's nitric oxide.
nitric oxide. Well, I don't know what the heck
Nitric
I said.
oxide.
Talk to
Yes.
us about this.
Well, there was someone in the late 90s who won a Nobel Prize who found out that by taking, by injecting or getting nitric oxide in your bloodstream, it causes all of your veins and arteries to become so subtle. Now, it's the reverse of hardening of the arteries.
Mm-hmm.
It makes them soft and expandable, which is what saved my life, which is what stopped me from having strokes. Once I found this and started taking it every day, my veins and arteries expanded. So the stroke stopped where they were blocked and constricted. Once they were expanded, the blood could go around the constrictions. So anyway, I really think that is the key ingredient to the drink and to good health. Is getting nitric oxide in your body. I take a product called L-Arginine Plus. Now, it's a little expensive, but what's your health worth?
Well,
I
that's
mean,
what, yeah,
yeah.
I want to talk about that in our next segment because I think it's very important that we have this conversation from that economic standpoint. And we're going to do that as we continue talking about body of health with Dennis Henson here on Tell Me Your Story. I'm Reverend Dr. D. He is Dennis Henson. We are not doctors, so what we're sharing with you is just our observations, our experiences, our perceptions in regards to what we're talking about on this program, which is the Fountain of Youth drink. Now, one of the aspects that we talked about in the last segment had to do with the ingredients is in what is referred to as the after heat add-ins. Now, what that means is the first series of ingredients you want to heat in the microwave for 30 seconds. Those measurements are available with the recipe at Dennis J. Henson. That's DennisJHenson.com. Then you add in the other ingredients. But here's what's interesting. If I were to look into your medicine cabinet today, as compared to, let's say, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, I'm only guessing here that the volume of prescription medications has probably decreased because you have increased or just added to your daily regimen these wonderful concoctions, shall we say, like the Fountain of Youth drink, that have made all the difference in the world. And I have a few prescriptions on my counter that I'd like to get rid of and replace with a little jar with whatever it is that I feel is going to be most beneficial to take care of the conditions that I have, to give my body the chance to live a quality of life to the age of 100 and then some. Is that a fair assessment?
Oh, you're absolutely right. The only prescription drug you find in my cabinet or on my table is there was a pain pill. Now I'm taking ibuprofen. So I've replaced that with ibuprofen. So I was hurt really bad when I fell
Yeah.
and thought I'd broken my arm, but it was turned out to be a bone bruise. But anyway,
Hmm.
that was painful. And they gave me a narcotic to ease the pain. But as soon as I could think clearly enough, I changed over. So I don't really take any drugs. I just don't
Right.
feel like I need them. I'm healthy. I feel good. I mean, the reason I hurt myself was because I was out exercising. I was running. Most people my age don't run as fast as I was going. So uh, that agrees with your theory.
Yeah. Well, I know there are folks, and I actually met a woman back in the 90s, mid 90s, when I was working in Phoenix. And she was telling me she was taking like 6 or 7 or 8 different medications, even more. And what the problem was, this is the scenario that develops, is that you get prescribed one medication for a condition, And then there are side effects. So you take a second medication for the side effects. And then there are side effects to number two. So you take number three and four and five and six. And I said, well, again, I'm no doctor, but I would highly recommend that you go to your doctor and say, I want to get off of these. This is ridiculous. I want to get to the root cause of whatever's making me not feel good. And she did that. And she got off of like four or five, maybe six of them. I mean, I wasn't making any recommendations. It was just a suggestion. Talk to your doctor. My
Right.
wife is the same way. She wants to get off of all of the medications that she's on because she wasn't, when I first met her, uh, but what was it now, 28 years ago? 27 years ago, I met her, and she wasn't taking any medications at all. Zero. And I know that as we age, the body changes and all of that, but it doesn't change to the extent that you need chemicals. Our body is the greatest pharmaceutical company, if you will, on the planet or in the universe. But we have to be giving it the ingredients. Would you say that the Fountain of Youth drink provides a lot of those ingredients to help to fortify the laboratory of the human body to where you really shouldn't need some of these medications?
I absolutely do. I think it gives your body what it needs every single day to continue so that you can think clearly, that you can do your work, that you can exercise. That's just one piece. We're going to be covering other pieces
Mm-hmm.
as we have our meetings. I mean, there's certain things that you could do, like grounding, taking cold showers, and the list goes on, that will even boost what you're doing more. Walking every day is a key. If you're able to walk, you should do it every single day without ever missing, because that's a real key to your health.
Well,
It
that's
tells
the beautiful, beautiful thing, Dennis, about the house that we bought in 2025. It's technically it's a two-story, but we have a loft, so there's another stairwell up, a flight of stairs up to the loft. So our master bedroom is on the first floor. The kitchen and living room are on the second floor. So I'm going up those stairs along with my wife four, five, six, seven, eight, nine times or more a day. And
great.
so we're getting some good walking in. But again, we're looking forward to getting out and walking the streets in the neighborhood where we live. And so that's very exciting. Folks, we're going to continue with A Body of Health with Dennis Henson as we continue this series on Tell Me Your Story. New paradigms for a new world. Well, the new paradigm for this series of programs is your health, your better health. And you can, there was an old commercial for oil changes. You may remember this slogan: you can pay me now or you can pay me later. My father taught me, even before I was driving, he says, if you ever have a car, what have you, you want to make sure to take care of the maintenance stuff, like changing the oil every, I don't know if it's 3,000, 5,000. I guess in today's age with the synthetics, it's 10,000. But you want to do that because he says, this is what he said. He says, while you're making payments on that car and you do the maintenance stuff, when you make the final payment on that car, you won't be making any more payments because you took care of the car during that period of time. And it's the same thing with the human body. Now, I'll be the first to admit, Dennis, and you too probably, well, you shared with us already, we weren't doing such a great job going into our 40s and 50s, but that doesn't mean that it's all over because the body regenerates those cells every 7 years, right? Those trillions of cells. So, yes, it is possible through a lot of the different methods that you can find. I want to give you the last word on this before we wrap up, Dennis, on the Fountain of Youth drink.
Well, I hope everyone will go to the website and at least download it and look at it and consider taking advantage of it, because it will have a tremendous effect on how you feel. And over time, uh, what happens to you. So I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to share this with everybody, and hope that you will take advantage of the Body of Health Facebook group, because there's a lot of tips on there that are not from me. I mean, they're all not from me. They're just the very best tips I could find. Or you can add tips too. I mean, it's not just for me, but I've added hundreds of them. Some of the members add them as we go. But of course, I check them to make sure that they're good. But those are really quality tips.
Right. So we're just offering recommendations. We're not prescribing anything. And here's the other beautiful thing about it, folks. We're not trying to sell you anything in this regard with the Body of Health. We're at least not in terms of you're having to fork over your hard-earned currency. We are trying to sell you on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level things that can help you. And check it out. If you need to do so, check with your personal physician. And Dennis, once again, thank you so much. This is going to be a great series here in this year. I've got to double check to see if we have 52 or 53 programs, and we'll fill those up with some good information for folks to take advantage of.
Thank you.
And I thank you folks for listening to and watching Tell Me Your Story, New Paradigms for a New World. This is the Body of Health program. The series will continue on each week at this same time, and available, of course, on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, Blueberry, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and we're also on YouTube where you can watch these conversations. And until our next podcast, broadcast, videocast, love Talal. Jeanette, I'm still listening. Dad, continue to be happy. Smokey, I'll see you on the other side. Mike, thanks for being in my life and letting me be in yours. And to my dear friend Zorro, aho, aho.